Welcome to Sports Bios, the definitive chronicle of athletic lives, where we delve into the triumphs, tribulations, and transformations that shape the world's greatest competitors. I'm your host, Howard Closewell, and today, we're privileged to explore the fascinating life of Sandy Sadler, a man whose fists would eventually become the instruments of his triumph, and whose legacy would forever change the face of boxing. Born on June 23, 1926, in Boston, Massachusetts, Sandy Sadler grew up in the vibrant neighborhood of Roxbury, where the sounds of jazz and blues filled the air, and the smell of freshly cooked soul food wafted from the kitchens of his family's friends. His parents, Frederick and Ethel Sadler, were both hardworking individuals who instilled in their children the importance of education, discipline, and perseverance. Sandy's father, a veteran of World War I, worked as a laborer, while his mother was a homemaker, dedicated to raising their 4 children. As a young boy, Sandy was fascinated by the stories of his older brother Jimmy, who would regale him with tales of adventure and bravery. The Sadler family lived in a small apartment on Tremont Street, where the sounds of laughter, music, and debate filled the air. Sandy's parents encouraged his curiosity, nurturing his love for reading and writing, which would serve him well in his future endeavors. Sandy's early education took place at the local Patrick O'Hearn Elementary School, where he excelled academically, particularly in English and history. His teachers, Mrs. Johnson and Mr. Thompson, recognized his potential and encouraged him to pursue his passion for learning. Sandy's love for literature was evident even at a young age, as he devoured books by authors such as Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston. The Great Depression had a profound impact on the Sadler family, with many struggles to make ends meet. However, Sandy's parents instilled in him a sense of resilience and determination, which would serve him well in his future pursuits. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 further altered the landscape of Sandy's life, as his older brother Jimmy enlisted in the military. Sandy would often listen to his brother's stories about the war, which instilled in him a sense of patriotism and duty. By the time Sandy turned 14, he had already begun competing in local amateur boxing matches, earning himself a reputation as a formidable opponent. His victories were not limited to the ring. He also excelled academically, particularly in English and history. Sandy's love for literature and his ability to articulate his thoughts would serve him well in his future endeavors. As Sandy entered his teenage years, he faced increased scrutiny and racism, both in and out of the ring. However, he persevered, drawing strength from his family, community, and the words of his father, "A man's gotta have heart, son." This mantra would become a guiding force in Sandy's life, propelling him forward even in the face of adversity. The historical context of Sandy's early years was marked by significant events that shaped his worldview. The Harlem Renaissance, which celebrated African American culture and identity, had a profound impact on Sandy's understanding of himself and his place in the world. The music of Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and Billie Holiday filled the air, while the writings of Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston inspired him to explore his own creativity. By the time Sandy turned 18, he had already amassed an impressive amateur record, earning himself a spot on the U.S. Army's boxing team during World War II. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of his journey towards greatness as he prepared to face the best boxers from around the world. The discipline, camaraderie, and sense of purpose he experienced during his time in the Army would forever change him, instilling in him a deep-seated confidence and an unshakable work ethic. And so, with the stage set for his ascent to greatness, we find ourselves at the threshold of Sandy Sadler's remarkable career. The question on everyone's mind is, what drove this young man from Roxbury to become one of the most feared and revered boxers of his generation? The answer lies in the confluence of his early life experiences, his unyielding passion for boxing, and the historical context in which he lived. As Sandy entered the professional boxing scene in the late 1940s, he was met with a mix of excitement and skepticism. The world of boxing was dominated by legendary figures like Joe Louis and Sugar Ray Robinson, and many wondered if this young man from Boston had what it took to join their ranks. However, Sandy was undeterred, driven by his passion for the sport and his determination to succeed. Sandy's professional debut in 1944 marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey. He quickly amassed a string of impressive victories showcasing his unique blend of speed, agility, and punching power. His fighting style, which combined elements of boxing and brawling, earned him both admirers and critics. While some praised his tenacity and relentless pressure, others criticized his tendency to bend the rules and push the limits of what was considered acceptable in the ring. One of Sandy's most significant early victories came against the seasoned boxer, Phil Terranova, in 1946. This bout not only demonstrated Sandy's technical skills, but also his ability to adapt under pressure. As he navigated the challenging landscape of professional boxing, Sandy faced numerous tough opponents, each presenting a unique set of challenges and opportunities for growth. The late 1940s were a transformative period for Sandy, both in and out of the ring. He began to gain recognition not only for his fighting prowess, but also for his charismatic personality and outspoken views on racism and social justice. In an era marked by segregation and discrimination, Sandy used his platform to speak out against injustice, inspiring countless young African Americans with his courage and conviction. In 1948, Sandy faced off against Willie Pep in what would become one of the most iconic fights of the century. Their legendary bout at Madison Square Garden was a testament to Sandy's skill, determination, and unyielding spirit. Although he suffered a narrow defeat, Sandy's performance earned him widespread acclaim and cemented his status as a rising star in the boxing world. As the 1950s dawned, Sandy continued to push the boundaries of what was possible for a boxer from his background. He traveled the world, competing against the best fighters on the planet and amassing an impressive collection of titles and accolades. His rivalry with Willie Pep became the stuff of legend, with their series of bouts captivating audiences and inspiring a new generation of boxers. Throughout this period, Sandy remained deeply connected to his community and family. His parents, Frederick and Ethel, continued to be a source of inspiration and support, while his brother Jimmy, who had returned from the war, became one of his closest confidants. The values of hard work, discipline, and perseverance that they instilled in him remained at the core of his being, guiding him through the triumphs and challenges that lay ahead. As we reflect on this pivotal period in Sandy Sadler's life, it becomes clear that his success was not solely due to his natural talent or physical prowess. Rather, it was the result of a complex interplay between his early life experiences, his passion for boxing, and the historical context in which he lived. The lessons he learned from his family, community, and mentors, combined with his own resilience and determination, enabled him to overcome countless obstacles and achieve greatness. With his fists firmly planted on the summit of boxing glory, Sandy looked out upon a world that was forever changed by his presence. The question on everyone's mind is, what's next for this legendary boxer? Will he continue to defy the odds and push the boundaries of human achievement, or will the challenges of the sport eventually catch up with him? As Sandy entered the 1950s, he was at the pinnacle of his career, having won multiple titles and earning widespread recognition for his skill and determination. However, this period also brought new challenges, including a series of grueling bouts against top contenders and the constant pressure to perform at an elite level. Despite these obstacles, Sandy remained committed to his craft, continually adapting and refining his technique to stay ahead of the competition. One of the most significant fights of this era was his 1951 bout against Jimmy Carter, which showcased Sandy's exceptional skill and strategy in the ring. This victory not only demonstrated his technical prowess, but also his ability to overcome adversity, as he faced a tough opponent and emerged victorious despite being knocked down in the early round. Throughout the 1950s, Sandy continued to travel the world, competing against the best fighters on the planet, and amassing an impressive collection of titles and accolades. His rivalry with Willie Pep remained one of the most iconic in boxing history, with their series of bouts captivating audiences and inspiring a new generation of boxers. In addition to his achievements in the ring, Sandy also became a prominent figure in the civil rights movement, using his platform to speak out against racism and social injustice. He was a close friend and supporter of prominent figures such as Jackie Robinson and Muhammad Ali, and he played an active role in promoting equality and opportunity for African Americans. As Sandy's career began to wind down in the late 1950s, he faced a new set of challenges, including the physical toll of years of intense competition and the emotional strain of dealing with the pressures of fame. Despite these obstacles, he remained committed to his craft, continuing to compete at an elite level and inspiring countless young boxers with his courage and determination. Sandy's legacy extends far beyond his impressive record in the ring. He paved the way for future generations of African-American boxers, breaking down barriers and challenging racist stereotypes that had long dominated the sport. His commitment to social justice and his role as a prominent figure in the civil rights movement continue to inspire people around the world. As we reflect on Sandy Sadler's remarkable life and career, it becomes clear that his success was not solely due to his natural talent or physical prowess. Rather, it was the result of a complex interplay between his early life experiences, his passion for boxing, and the historical context in which he lived. The lessons he learned from his family, community, and mentors, combined with his own resilience and determination, enabled him to overcome countless obstacles and achieve greatness. In the words of Sandy himself, boxing is not just about throwing punches, it's about heart, grit, and perseverance. These qualities, which defined his career and inspired a generation, continue to resonate today, reminding us of the power of human spirit and the enduring legacy of this boxing legend. As we conclude our podcast series on Sandy Sadler, we honor his memory and celebrate his achievements, recognizing the profound impact he had on the world of boxing and beyond. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for joining us as we explored the remarkable life and career of Sandy Sadler. We hope you've enjoyed this journey through the highs and lows of his extraordinary story, and we look forward to bringing you more inspiring tales from the world of sports and beyond. That's all for today's Sports Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Howard Closewell reminding you to keep shooting for your goals.